Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby Beyond Forever Sports. Very interesting news. A potential Ospreys Cheetahs partnership / ownership is apparently on the cards with potential players sharing, for example, and a lot of different things potentially on the table as well. A very interesting development for both the Cheetahs as well as the Ospreys, the URC side, that really needs to try and kick it up a gear because, the Welsh sides are under a bit of pressure this season because they won't be guaranteed a spot in Champions Cup Rugby at the end of the season. It'll be completely merit-based, which means that they're all trying to sort of vie to make sure they get into the top 8 as opposed to just be the basic Welsh side. Before we tell you exactly what the report about Wales Online has to say, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so the report is that the owners of Welsh Club Ospreys could be looking at buying a share of the Cheetahs. So Y11, which is the name of the company, which currently owns a majority stake in the Ospreys, also has 25% stake in the Hurricanes, are looking to try and buy a share in the Cheetahs. So it's not the club itself that are trying to buy the Cheetahs, it's the owning company. And then the idea is that if the deal is successful, a number of Cheetahs players could join the Ospreys on loan for the rest of the season. So apparently, names that are apparently floating around are a scrum of Rian Currie, hooker Marnus van der Merwe, and Daniel Cassenda, the wing. The Cheetahs will take part in the Challenge Cup as one of the invitational sides and will face Zebra and Sharks in December before taking on Pau and Onya in January. But World Rugby's laws do not allow the same owner to have a majority share in two clubs in the same competition. But that is not expected. But apparently that won't be an issue, for example, when it comes to this, because it's not the same domestic competition. If it was, for example, buying the Lions, it'll be an issue. But apparently it sounds like this could be a bit of a workaround. It's an interesting concept, isn't it? And the big sort of question is what benefit will the Cheetahs get? And I think that's the big question that a lot of people will be asking, because we kind of see this player J before, and this kind of looks like buying a direct fee to South African players, doesn't it? You are now going to go buy a majority share of a union in South Africa with, right on the doorstep, you've got the school that's produced more Springboks than any other, and you're going to sort of almost create this pipeline to Wales. And that's what a lot of South Africans are going to fear, the fact that this could be this brain drain of, Rian Currie, Marnus van der Merwe, Daniel Cassenda. Yes, they'll get URC experience, but in many ways, is that not just putting them in the shopping window? Now, the biggest problem is that the Cheetahs at the moment do not have a constant competition. They don't have a URC, for example. They're in the Currie Cup and they're in the Champions Cup. And they're in the Champions Cup as an invitational side. So as a result, they've had to do things like this Toyota Challenge, for example, where teams have come down and they played against them and, sort of creating rugby for them to play, friendlies and mini competition, stuff like that. So as a player, you look at the Cheetahs as a stepping stone. That's the reality, and I think the Cheetahs fans might get offended by that, but that's the reality. Right now, it is a stepping stone club because how are you going to become a Springbok from a side that doesn't take part in a top competition, apart from the Challenge Cup, and it's frustrating from a Cheetahs perspective, and this is why a lot of people are talking about the idea of promotion relegation. But that's not happening anytime soon as far as the URC mandate is. So there's no room for them in the URC unless URC were to expand to more teams. So in terms of the benefits to the Cheetahs, I suppose in terms of literally, if they are going to put a cash injection, so facilities could increase, the salary cap, for example, will still be there, but I don't know if they're using it, but maybe they could fulfill the salary cap. So there could be a bit of a cash injection, but it's difficult to see how they'd really benefit. I don't think you're not going to see top Ospreys players going down to Cheetahs. Maybe they'll send a couple on loan, for example, a couple of youngsters. So there might be a few things, but obviously then the main thing that South African fans will sit there saying, well, do we want, Welsh youngsters playing in our country? I've never been one of those fans. I've always thought that I don't look at every international player playing in this country and think, oh, he's taking the place of a youngster. I think that that's a very minimalistic way of looking at things. I think it's very restrictive. I think that somebody's had this debate about Lee Halfpenny going to Crusaders. They say, oh, well, that's going to prevent a young New Zealand fullback from coming through. And I'm sitting there going, imagine your current squad learning from Lee Halfpenny, learning from a player like that, playing with a player like that, being able to watch how he trains, how he plays the game, having that experience. I mean, how much more information and proof do we need about the value of playing with experienced players for young players? But it's difficult to see how this will really benefit the Cheetahs. So it's an interesting situation, isn't it? Obviously, as I said, financially, if it takes care of them, it's a good move, but it does seem to there does seem to be a way of getting of accessing our South African players, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it does seem to open a bit of a pipeline and almost open a funnel. And whether we'll be able to stop that funnel, well, that's going to be the problem, isn't it? So, hopefully there'll be a couple of checks and balances in there to prevent a further player drain from this country. Let me know what you think. Will it work? Will it not? Down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.